This is Algebra 2, Lesson 1-1, Intro to Polynomials. It's currently Tuesday, August 27th at 2:52 in the morning. Sorry I couldn't be there again. I wanted to, but Riley's still sick, so I have to do this from home. So things are going to be very similar to last year for this class in terms of you go to your unit guide and you're updating it with Khan Academy. I know that last year we did a lot of stuff on paper. For today, strictly, we're just going to do Khan Academy, and if we want to start doing paper, we'll have that discussion again in the near future, but today is Khan Academy. So today, there's our lesson. If we come back here, there is our lesson, which means we have one homework assignment on Khan Academy, and when you finish that homework on Khan Academy, this is a different class, but a good example, when you finish that homework assignment, get whatever percent you get, type it in here. Don't type the actual percent, just leave it as a number, just like before. And let's go and do some notes. So our objective today is to fluently use characteristics of polynomials, being able to converse with your friends, to communicate back and forth what is going on with this polynomial. And if these notes look familiar, that's because they are. I mean, we just did this, I would say like May of last year, or last school year, I should say. It's almost the same exact notes. I just had to tweak them a little bit to make sure that we understood all the stuff. All right, so vocab. So I have a general polynomial here. What do I mean by a coefficient? So while you're watching this video, be predicting the words that I'm going to say. Be engaged with the video. So it's a what that is being multiplied by a what. It is a number that's being multiplied by a variable. So for example, this is a number being multiplied by this variable x to the power of 4, so that is a coefficient. All right, I mean, that's a coefficient as well. That's a coefficient. There's not really a coefficient in front of the x. I guess you could say -1 is the coefficient, but a good way to identify coefficients. Constant. It's a blank with no variable. It's a number with no variable. And this term comes up quite a bit in the homework, so make sure you really understand what a constant is. This is the constant, 17. This is constant. I can't spell constant. It's the constant term because there's no x. It's just a number by itself. All right, so I'm going to use this word a bunch term. It's numbers and or variables separated by pluses and minuses. So you can think of this as chunks. So term is a chunk. This is a term. This is another term. I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms in this polynomial. So they're separated by pluses and minuses, little chunks. All right, so polynomial. It's a collection of one or more terms. So that is why this is a polynomial, because it definitely has at least more, or at least one terms. All right, degree. This is probably the most important part of today's lesson, is how to figure out the degree. So this is the highest, you can say exponent or power. I'm going to use the word power. Yeah, power. I guess exponent might be more correct, but the highest power of all of the terms in a polynomial. So if I come back up here, the highest power, well, that's a power of 4, 3, 2, kind of an invisible 1, and 0. Secondly, x to the power of 0. Don't put the 0 on 17. So the highest one was 4. So this is a degree 4. Degree 4 polynomial. I'm just going to say degree 4 poly because of this 4 right here. All right, and standard form. So I made this promise last year, and I'm holding to it. Whenever you're in Algebra 2, you will always be writing things in standard form. I might not be giving it to you in standard form, but if you ever write a polynomial in my classroom, it needs to be in standard form, and that is when the terms are ordered from the biggest what to the smallest, the biggest degree. So this one is already in standard form because it goes 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It goes bigger and then smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is already in standard form. All right, so now's a good time to pause the video if you need to review anything. We are on to special names. Not as many special names as last year. I remember you had to remember constant, linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, quintic, all that stuff. Not this year. All I need to know is the degree in terms of fifth degree, second degree. Even though second degree is considered a quadratic, just say second degree. But in terms of the number of terms, you do need to know that for today's homework. If I have one term, that is a monomial. If I have two terms, that is a binomial. And you can already guess this one. This is going to be a trinomial. And again, terms are the segments. So this had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So there's no word that describes 5 terms. But if I had some examples here, x, that is a monomial. X squared minus 1, that is a binomial. X squared plus 2x minus 3, that is a trinomial because there are 3 chunks here. 1, 2, 3 terms. Therefore, this is a trinomial. All right. We've got a bunch of examples, and then we're done with the notes. Example 1. Rewrite this polynomial in standard form. All right. The highest power is 4, so I'm going to do negative 3x to the power of 4. The next highest power is, well, this is a power of 1. If there's nothing there, assume it's 1. So next highest is 2, so plus that 7x squared, then plus the next highest. So let me cross off the ones that we've done. We've done that one, that one. So between these two, this one is higher because this one is technically to the power of 0. So it's 10x and then plus 2. Again, think of this as 2x to the power of 0. That's why it's a lower term. Or you can always think of, if there's a constant, it should be at the very right-hand side. On to example 2. What is the degree of this polynomial? Again, the degree is the highest exponent. There's 2, 1, 7, and 5. Which one of those is the biggest? 7. 7th degree polynomial. That's it. How I've been boxing my answers. You don't really need to box a giant standard form, though. And finally, example 3, write a 4th degree binomial with a constant term of 6. Oh boy, lots of stuff. So it needs to be a binomial, so it's going to have 2 segments, segment 1, segment 2, with a plus or minus. I'm just going to randomly choose plus. So that is a binomial. It's going to have 2 terms, 4th degree. So the biggest one is going to be to the power of 4. So something x to the power of 4. Let's just choose a random number, 7. 7x to the power of 4 with a constant term of 6. The constant of 6, there it is. There is one of infinite many 4th degree binomials with constant terms of 6. You could have done, for example, negative 8x to the power of 4 minus 6. That would be another possibility. There are quite a few that you could be doing here. Cool. So that's it for the notes, but do not write your summary right now. I repeat, do not write it in class. The summary for the rest of the year is going to be done at home when you Cornell your notes. So you might be wondering why Mr. Sindel said, do not do the summary, and here is the reason. It's called the rate of forgetting. You will get this handout when I come back. So let's pretend we did the notes. So we are right here. We just did the notes, we're on this line. So after 18 minutes, we've already forgotten half of the stuff that I just taught. Within one day, I'm down here to 42, 43%. Within 7 days, I'm down here to like 35-ish%. That's only doing the notes. But what happens if within 18 minutes, I do some review like Khan Academy? Then I jump back up here to this line. So if I do notes and then Khan Academy, then I stay on this line. And within one day, I've remembered 70%. Within 7 days, I've remembered 60%. So that's reviewing twice. I'm on this curve. But if I do review 3 times, then I'm on this curve. Then this review may be doing the summary or Cornelling my notes. Then I'll be on this line. This line means that within 7 days, I'll remember 80%. You're shooting for a B here. And then you stay on this line. But what if I review again? What if Mr. Sindel, for example, gives me a quiz or gives me a test or makes me do flashcards on Quizlet? All of this constant review with time to forget in between will get you on these higher curves so you can't forget as much. Notice that when you're on these curves that are the 1, 2, third time reviewing out here, this curve right here, you never really go below 80%. You can't really get a C if you review that third time correctly. So that is the curve of forgetting, the rate of forgetting, which is make sure you have time to forget and then review. Time to forget and then review. All right, that concludes today's lesson. So what you're doing right now, just as a review, is you're going to Khan Academy and you're doing these lessons as you get the 100%, you're going back to your unit guide and entering if you got 100% or whatever. And again, don't type the percent, just the number.